Hey Marja,
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Sorry, this is just my short elevator music situation for people to
Oh, it's
log
beautiful.
in.
Oh, well, thank you for asking me to come on in.
Yes, thanks for being here. And I'm about to flip this camera. Let me see, where is it? Where is it? There we go. Hey,
Oh, it's so nice to see you.
you too. I realize I haven't seen you in a while. I'm like sweating. It's hot in LA.
Yeah, the plant in the back is really pretty.
Like, it's always like tropical background situation.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, so everyone, welcome. I think people are still joining in, but we're gonna save this live, so in case people miss it, they can still rewatch it later. But yeah, so everyone, Maria is here with me because I decided to add a new feature on my Patreon, and it is a yoga class and meditation sessions. So Maria is going to be our teacher for these things, and so we wanted to chat about it a little bit, tell you guys more about it, and if you have any questions for Maria, you can put them in the question box. So we're going to answer those as well. And yeah, so super excited. Um, we just released the first yoga class and the first meditation session. And the plan is to make it yoga once a month, and the meditation sessions will be weekly. So we're going to make it like, I called it Meditation Mondays. So it's going to be on every Monday because I felt it's a good start to your week. And, um, it's also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like people could take the same session multiple times, maybe throughout the week, and move on to the next session next week. But yeah. So, Maria, just tell me. Actually, I'm excited to hear that too, because I don't really know your story that well, outside of just like knowing you from teaching here in LA and dancing together. But yeah, just tell me a little bit about your story and like how you got into like yoga and meditation and all that.
Well, I started, I think my first yoga practice was on a DVD with Rodney Yee when I was 16. And in high school, I was a competitive cheerleader. So I looked
Oh,
at yoga. Yeah. I looked at a yoga practice to help with flexibility. And it was pretty much was like a very physical in route for me. When I was in college, same kind of thing. I really enjoyed it, but I was using it more for like a physical practice, which I think that's the benefit of a yoga practice. It can be so many different things, and you get to
mm,
decide, and it might change along your progression through your life and the years that you're practicing. But eventually, when I was dancing for a company in Chicago, I found my yoga practice to be kind of really mentally therapeutic and just a place where I wasn't listening to someone else tell me that I was doing something wrong,
mhm.
or just like the different things I think that they were kind of getting in my own way, and I was sometimes self-sabotaging myself and losing confidence in things. And my yoga practice was a place where I just got to listen to my body. I got to listen to myself, and those quiet practices and contemplative practices were really, really transformative for me. And
Mhm.
I did a dance tour in Asia for about 3 months with one of my really dear friends, Lola. And we didn't really have access to gyms or yoga studios or even dance classes. So I would practice yoga 3 times a day in like the hotel lobby way or the train station or anywhere that I could, just to get the physical movement. But also, I think traveling 30 cities in 3 months, you're kind of like, what time zone am I in? Where am I at in the world? And so it's a really nice way to also kind of just come back to myself. And then after that Asia tour, I moved from Shanghai straight to LA. And ever since, I've been teaching yoga and practicing and dancing ever since.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. It's always cool for me to hear about like and experience like the mental part of yoga and the like, contemplation and how it can be healing not just for the body. And I think a lot of people who never taken it probably associate it with like the physical only. And I think it's cool because it's like I don't think there's many things that connect the physical with the mental as much. And that's what I love about yoga for sure. And then you started something called yoga for dancers, right? So it's like your specific practice. Can you tell more about what makes it different from the regular yoga, and can non-dancers still take your classes as well?
Well, my Yoga for Dancers class actually started at Edge. I think I started teaching yoga and movement lifestyle first, and then at Edge. And Edge was the place that called it Yoga for Dancers. And I used to teach much more rigorous type, like athletic and contortion based classes. And I would always ask people that were taking the class, like, how do your bodies feel? In dancer specific classes, people always said like tired and exhausted, and I was dancing on concrete for 6 hours the day before, or like this is starting to hurt and I don't have like a PT that I go to. And so my practice or my offerings started to change just based on what I was listening to with the specific people that were in front of me. And so as Yoga for Dancers started to take form, it really did turn into a more of a therapeutic based practice, where I try and weave in both therapeutic yoga, which can be really strong, it can also be really flexible. But I think it comes back to the tenets of yoga itself, which is a balance. And so if you've been doing choreography that's just using your right arm over and over again, and those tendons are inflamed, well, like how do we kind of quell that? And then start to strengthen other regions, find flexibility in certain regions, so that your body feels like it's really well taken care of, so that then you can go back to choreography or tour or whatever you might wish to do in a body that doesn't feel like it's just about to break.
Right. Okay. It's interesting because my first, impression, and I'm sure maybe a lot of people think the same way, when you hear yoga for dancers, it's like, oh, this is like athletic for these professionals that can do crazy things with their bodies, and it's actually the opposite, right? It's like, so you would say everyone can take it, right? Whether they're a dancer or not. Yeah, it's just focus on the therapeutic. I'm missing the English word, but
you can use any language.
Yes.
But yeah, it I think is, at least my hope is that it's really accessible to everyone. And I've had people that are non-dancers be a little bit trepidatious for taking the class, because like, oh, like I'm not a dancer, like I won't be able to kind of do the things, and I exactly what you had said, I agree with. It's my intent is to make it as inclusive and as welcoming as possible, and also create so much space that if you want to hold something longer, if you want to do something differently, there's no kind of like fundamentalism, like you have to do it this way, and this is the kind of the sequence, you have to follow it verbatim. I try and kind of really allow that kind of creativity within the practice. So giving it structure for sure and a skeleton of things, but allowing people to access it and do the things that they need on the particular day for their particular body.
Love that. That's awesome. Okay, and so for the classes that we will be doing on Patreon, like I know the first one we did is kind of like an open level, so that a person that who never took yoga before will be fine. And so what's your kind of vision of like progressing the classes? Like, are they gonna, kind of have different flows? Or are they gonna grow with the difficulty or not? Like, maybe you can talk more about that.
Yeah. For the monthly yoga practices, my hope and intention is to offer different styles. So the first one that I offered was kind of more introduction to yoga for dancers. And I try and be a little bit more conservative, especially with the online classes when I can't see the bodies. So I try and kind of create things that are really, really accessible and kind of really clear, and like where like the joint centration is, like how your body is stacked, and and kind of taking the guesswork out of that for people that might be very, very new and not know like what Warrior 2 is. So kind of really taking my time and staying a little bit more conservative with the first time with any particular style of practice, and then layering it each time we see the same style of practice. But yin yoga, or my yin yoga classes, is way more restorative, which means that you use a lot of prop to support your body for maybe a 3 to 5 minute hold for a shape. And it's not necessarily like the physical benefit, although there is that, but it really is, at least from my perspective, to speak to your nervous system. Because if you get what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, your kind of rest and digest, to kind of take care of things, your digestive system can improve, your immune system can improve, cardiovascular. So you're speaking to a lot of different components of your kind of human anatomy and physiology when you're finding both a meditation practice and also yin restorative, even yoga practices. But sometimes the rigorous practices are a bit more kind of like gusto and gung-ho with the cardiovascular system. All great things. But then the other side of things, the yin, the yang, the active and the passive, the contemplative, to allow for kind of the internal systems of our body to start to, it's like a balm to kind of take care of everything internally.
I love that. And actually, I'm looking here at the question box, and there's one question that I think like we should just go for it right now, because it kind of corresponds with what you were just saying. How does yoga help with stress? So yeah, I mean, you kind of explained it, but if there's anything else to add specifically.
Yeah. Well, stress is kind of the opposite system, the sympathetic nervous system, where your body, they've even added on to it, so the fight or flight, but it can also be freeze. So when we're in high stress environments, and it can be, they always give the analogy of like if like a lion or a bear is running after you, and it's a autonomic response that your body kind of gets the heart rate going so that you can run away from whatever the danger might be. But it can also be a complete construct of the mind. So if I'm thinking about something that causes a lot of stress for me, I personally can sometimes make it a whole lot worse just by thinking about it a lot. And then it gets super, super big, and like, how do you even tackle that? But for me, at least, yoga and meditation allow a lot of breathing space. And if I just lay on my mat and just focus on my breath, that in and of itself kind of short circuits that sympathetic response and all the kind of neurotransmitters, the things that are going from my brain to my body to say like, we've got to go and run away from this danger. But if I just slow down and close my eyes and focus on my breath, I can start to use my own system for me, start to transition from sympathetic to parasympathetic, so that once I get that going, then all other systems follow, and I start to kind of de-stress and down-regulate from the inside out. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, I just think like, you know, especially in these times when everything is so uncertain and it's like so back and forth, and we think we're out of the lockdowns and the pandemic, and then we're back into it, and like, you know, now we have a job, now we don't, and whatever else. I think it's very different for everyone depending on their situation. But I think for me, I felt like yoga and meditation was something that I felt was going to help a lot, and that's why I wanted to add that to my Patreon offer, because, you know, I think more people could definitely use it. And so far the response has been amazing. Like we had a few people take the classes that we already posted. It was barely like a couple days ago, but you know, the response is great. So I know it was the right choice, and I'm excited for the journey. And just so everyone knows, the classes are pre-recorded. So, because a lot of people are asking me like, oh, is the class on the IG Live, or, you know, when I posted our little flyer. And this is just for us to talk about it a little bit, answer any questions and stuff. But the classes are pre-recorded because we have a lot of people on Patreon from like all over the world, from Europe, from Australia, from New Zealand, from the States. So it would be impossible to do a live class in a way that everyone can take it at the same time because of the time zones and stuff. So we're doing, everything is pre-recorded and everything can be taken at your own schedule. And what I love about it too is that it builds a library of classes and sessions, and then we can retake them again and again. Like I said, like with the meditation or yoga, you can take it many times. So maybe you could now talk a little bit about the meditation portion. So that's a whole separate, like, sometimes I call it a class, but it's not really a class, right? It's more like a guided meditation session. So we're doing those 4 times a month, every Monday. And yeah, maybe just, you know, talk about that and how it kind of progresses and what's the idea and structure of it.
So we'll start, I think, every like first week with a 5-minute meditation, and then the duration will increase maybe as much as 5 minutes, sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, from week to week. So there is a sense of kind of gradual progression in duration of time, which makes it potentially a more advanced practice. But what beginner and advanced meditation practice is sometimes different than kind of what we think of like advanced dance class or advanced like athleticism, because from my perspective at least, advanced meditation practice is where I kind of get out of the way as much as I possibly can and hold the space. What that means is that the first maybe month or two, I'll do a little bit more talking and a little bit more guiding, which means that there might be shorter durations of space where there's either like sounds of nature or gongs or kind of ambient sound. I'll be inserting myself a little bit more, just so that it doesn't feel like you're there for 5 minutes and your mind is kind of, you know, like, ooh, like, you know, what am I gonna have for lunch? And so it kind of helps kind of bring you back, but eventually my voice truly is a distraction, and so with the advancement of the practice, I try and subtract myself from your practice more and more, so that it is longer duration of just you with yourself. In the beginning, 30 seconds might go by and you're like, wow, I had 15,000 thoughts.
Right.
And so having that person or that voice to kind of guide you back can be helpful. But eventually, I get out of the way.
Nice. Okay. And so that kind of will progress within the month, but also month to month, each following month would be more advanced, sort of say, right? Yeah, okay. So that's another thing that it's really good if you guys can start it now with us, because it is going to be a whole like program that progresses. So that way, if you start this month, you can be on the same page with us, but also they all be saved. So if you started later, you would just have to go back to the first sessions and start from there. Cool. Let me see. I have like a list of things I wanted to ask you. Let me see if I have anything missing. That's that. One thing I actually don't, it's not on the list, but where are you from originally, Marja? I was wondering.
My family, my dad's side of the family is from Finland, so that's the origin of my name. Originally, I grew up in Michigan, moved to Chicago, then China, and then Los Angeles.
Right. In China, you said was like 3 years or so?
3 months.
3 months. Oh. I was like, 3. Got that right. Cool. That's awesome. So, yeah. So if you guys want to take the class, sign up. You can just DM me, or there's a link down there to sign up. And this month it's a promo. It's the price is $5 for a month. It's always like a monthly membership fee. So for $5 you get the meditation class, session, and then the yoga class. And then from next month it's going to go up to 15. So within the 15 you're going to get the monthly yoga and the 4 meditation sessions per month. But if you sign up this month, you get to lock in that promo price of 5. So hit me up if you're interested. And also, $1 from each purchase is going to go. I just want to show you guys the page. Is going to go to the Justice Speaks organization, which fights human trafficking. This is their website. So if you guys want to check more, you can go to justicespeaks.org, and I believe they have like a tab. Oh yeah, what we do. Yeah, you can find out all of that about them. So it's kind of like a smaller local organization, which I like, because I think we should be supporting things locally more sometimes than the huge big initiatives. So $1 from each purchase from every $5 is going to go towards this organization. So that's that.
You're an incredible human.
You are too. Thank you so much.
That's amazing. That is really, really amazing.
Thank you. And if you guys have any more questions, now is the time to put them in a question box before we finish. And yes, the live will be saved. So if anyone logged in late or missed something, I'm going to save it right after we're done. And again, send me a DM so I can explain to you everything, how to sign up. It takes like 2 minutes, and you can sign up anywhere from the world. Like, it doesn't have to be from the United States, as long as you have a bank card, credit card that you can use for the payment. It's going to work. And we have, like I said, people from all around the world. So yeah, yoga and meditation, $5 a month, and you get to support Justice Speaks with $1 off the 5. So thanks, guys, for being here. Marja, you have anything else to add?
No, I'm just super grateful and super, super honored. You're an incredible human and artist, and so it really is a huge honor to me.
Thank you so much, and I'm so glad you said yes to this, because like I don't know if I got to take your class maybe once at ML, but if it happened, it was just one time, and I always wanted to, but never was around for it somehow. So I'm super excited that you said yes, and I think this collaboration between us is going to be great. And yeah, really grateful for you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll see you guys later. Thanks so much, Marja.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.